I haven't got time to mark this motherfucker. Here we go again. We can't hear anybody. Nobody can talk to anybody.
You guessed your pressure points with your two favorite hosts. I'm D, and this is Frustrated AJ. We're coming at you with Season 7, Episode 32, Doc Brinkley's Balls Part 2. We're continuing the Odyssey of prostatologist J. Romulus Brinkley. So find us on Instagram and Patreon at pointsopressure.com. Let's get to it.
Well, turn the fucking thing off, you dumbass.
So to start,
Oh my fucking God.
to start, I'm going to beg that you go check out our Patreon because currently, right now, there's a book on auction. Dr. John Romulus Brinkley's Testicular Surgeries. And it's a book that he wrote about all of the surgeries that he's invented that we haven't even started to talk about yet.
How much is it?
It's $200.
Hey, or you can go to our Buy Me a Coffee and do
just
a one.
donate
You can buy us
$200.
8. I think we have like beer. I think it's beers on there. Whatever. You can donate $200 on Buy Me a Coffee, and we can only do Dr. Brinkley episodes for the rest of season 7.
Oh God. Yeah, everyone will be me trying to explain the visual drawings in this book of how to perform surgery.
Yeah. Also, if the intro sounded fucking weird and different
And like shit.
and really bad, we're sorry. We sat down an hour ago. We usually talk for about an hour before we record. We didn't talk for an hour. We
did
been
tech
fucking
support.
troubleshooting, trying to figure out what the fuck is going on.
So to explain the process is, we've got our little sound studio down here. When we're done recording and everything's uploaded, we stand up and leave.
Yeah, we don't
and then
change
it is not
anything.
touched
Yeah,
until we come back down the next
we don't
week.
adjust volumes.
So
Nothing changes.
our setup is we've got an audio interface. It's got 4 inputs. One input is coming from an iPad. 2 are from our microphones. And the iPad has a soundboard on it. But for some fucking reason,
It changes constantly.
the volume changes every time. Just in the last hour, restarting different things, it has gotten louder. It has gotten quieter. It's gotten
not
crunchy.
the volume buttons changing either. It's some kind of output from the iPad is different. The volume stays the same on here. It stays right at mid, but it plays back quieter. It never plays back louder than it was before. It's just progressively getting more and more quiet.
Maybe it's the software trying to convince us to go into a $30 a month subscriction fee.
Yeah,
This should be
not
the last
sure.
time you hear it that scuffed because because of our patrons,
replacing it. Yeah,
we're replacing our audio input with one that has some buttons.
Thank God for our patrons.
Thank God for our patrons because
we'll shout you out at the end of the episode. Deal with it.
Yeah,
but if you're interested in supporting us and making this hopefully less of a headache in the future when these issues come up, subscribe to us on Patreon, patreon.com/pointsopressure. Exclusive episode a month.
ad-free listening experience.
Ad-free listening. Also, if you contribute, you potentially get a better overall listening experience as we upgrade. Goodness.
Exactly.
Fucking gracious.
So last episode was funny. This one's not going to be funny because we're angry.
This one's serious.
This is a serious expose in the world of Kansas doctoring.
How was your week?
Yeah, it was fine. We got to... We went out to a ghost town.
Yeah, it's cool as shit.
Yeah. Normally there are more animals because it's in the middle of buck-ass nowhere, but it was still good. We saw a couple. We got some...
It was a lot of fun.
Your lady found a button, I mean.
Yeah, and then something else. I don't know what the fuck that copper thing is.
Yeah, maybe a candlestick holder or something. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Down, we went to Piedmont in Wyoming.
Yeah, outside of Evanston. So it's a good time. We were actually talking about it yesterday. I was like, I kind of enjoyed like stopping and just looking for animals. Like
hell yeah.
Stopping, getting out of the car at like random pretty views and just like looking off into the distance, trying to find any movement. I was like,
Yeah.
It kind of helped break up the, like, drive from here to there, go home. I was like, it was really nice. And she agreed. She was like, yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was chill.
So,
Nice.
Yeah, we got to do it again.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Especially now that the weather's not boiling hot.
Yeah, now that it's getting cooler. So yeah, it was a good weekend.
Yeah. Hype, chill,
Yeah, not bad.
both of those at the same time.
Good stuff.
So you want to hop right in?
Yeah, go for it. Take it away.
All right. So let's little recap.
Yeah.
Also, I should point out, the love triangle. We actually don't know who John R. Brinkley's father is,
Oh,
but I think it's kind of telling that they call him John Brinkley.
it's fair. It seems like the kind of person who would have a son named John Romulus Brinkley.
Yeah. So
It's a piece of shit like this. He seems like the kind of person named after his dad.
100%. And if you check out our Instagram, you'll actually see a picture of John Sr.
Oh yeah,
and John Jr. with Minnie and a couple other pictures and stuff. So,
with his stepmom aunt.
yeah. Ugh, yeah. Biological mother cousin or something.
Fucking whatever.
So we left John with... He finally divorced his bitch of a wife, Sally, who bullied him in school.
Did he legally though? I thought.
Yeah. They finally legally did it, but then he got remarried to Minnie
illegally.
still because it wasn't within the 6 months.
Yeah.
But at that point, I think the courts were just like, "Fuck it, whatever."
Yeah. They're like, this guy's weird, and he smells like fucking. He just smells. He's got
Smells like goats.
He's got a funk to him. He smells like.
He's got a farm funk.
He smells like human kimchi.
Ooh. And he lied to the court just so that they wouldn't be able to approach her and he wouldn't have to pay alimony, which is kind of funny. Kind of shitty.
Yeah, just the person you want to fuck over is like the angry ex that's already made threats to you.
Yeah,
and
already tracked you down
girlfriend.
multiple times across multiple states.
Yeah, fuck her over. Great idea.
Yeah, fantastic. This was all around 1915. As we know, he is now, I'm going to say legally... He has a diploma that makes him legally able to practice medicine in 8 states.
From
Technically
Kansas
as an
State
undergraduate
University,
physician.
yeah. That's the one that was.
That was the legit
that
eclectic
they
school.
basically just rewrote his diploma, right?
No, that one was from... He almost finished school, had too much debt, and then paid off the debt, and then went back.
Yeah, okay.
But to get there, he was already practicing as a doctor on his fake diploma from a diploma mill.
That's right. Okay.
There we go. So we've got his education down right. He's got 4 years of woo science, of woo medical science. But at that time, I guess a lot of it really was.
From Bellingham? Is that what the fucking...
Bennett.
Bennett.
Which is funny because that's his biological mother cousin's
I think
name.
it was close to it, but it wasn't.
Oh, yeah, it was close. Yeah. Wasn't quite. So,
Jesus.
Oh, sorry. This is, go listen to that one again.
Yeah.
Oh, that wouldn't help us at all.
Yeah,
So,
we're going to cut real quick so I can re-listen to what we just talked about. I'm going to read through those notes.
We're actually going to play the episode now, and then we'll pick up at the end. All right, so as we follow, he enlisted in the Army Reserve as a doctor, as a medic, and he gets called into service in World War I.
Oh, shit.
Which, as we know about John Romulus Brinkley's character...
That's where we ended
That's where we
episode.
ended. He's definitely fit out for the military life.
Yeah, this'll
go great. And I left you with some questions. How does he fare in the trenches? Does his ex-wife fuck off?
Oh yeah, how does J. Rom Brinkley solve trench foot? That was my question.
How is he able to legally practice medicine anywhere?
What does he do with bullet wounds?
We're going to answer these questions and more on this episode of Pressure Points. I was going to say Patreon.
Sponsored by Tushy.com.
Yeah. Go Google that. All right. So, yeah, as we left off, John Romulus Brinkley is called to serve his nation in the trenches of the Great War.
A goddamn hero.
A goddamn hero. And he already kind of has a hero complex, so...
Now imagine him with a 1,000-yard stare, too.
Oh, God. if you check out our Instagram, you'll see he does not have a 1,000-yard stare, and we're going to go into why.
Bone spurs.
He reports for duty and has a 2-month mental breakdown.
Oh, boy. Little diva.
And he never goes to training. He never gets, like, he's just basically put in a military hospital for 2
fake
months.
Dr. Diva.
And he gets discharged after 2 months. It turns out he's not cut out for the Army life. I don't know why he signed up for the Army Reserves.
Ever expected that?
Crazy. Who could have guessed? So, yeah, nothing happened. Nothing happens with the war. That was a whole buildup for absolutely nothing. It was
just
totally
doesn't even go to World War I.
Is not involved in World War I at all, except to show off how much of a whiny little bitch he is.
Yeah. But he tried and fucking just immediately sounds like somebody we know.
Yeah. So he gets home and he moves back in with his family in Milford, Kansas.
Milford,
Kansas.
Milford.
And he moves in here with his wife because he sees a newspaper ad saying, "Hey, we need a doctor in our town."
Oh, God.
Yeah. So in 1918...
They're like, all of the real ones have gone away to the war, and he's like, well, good thing...
No, legitimately, that's what it
thing
was.
I'm not.
Their doctor went off to war.
Yeah, of course.
So 1918, in Milford, Kansas, he opens a 16-room clinic, and he wins over the hearts of the town. He calls it the Brinkley Hospital.
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
It doesn't have a good ring to it. Like, some hospitals, you hear the name of it, and you just go... not going there. Like what's that hospital video game? 3 Point Hospital or whatever the fuck it is. Doesn't sound like a good hospital.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Neither does Brinkley Hospital. It doesn't sound right.
Especially because
wrong.
it's technically just a 16-room clinic.
John Hopkins Hospital sounds like a fucking safe place to go.
Yeah, John Brinkley's hospital.
John Brinkley's
sounds like, ooh, you're gonna get tetanus.
Yeah.
But he went over the town because he paid the employees really well. He made house calls, and he wasn't afraid of treating the massive Spanish flu in the pandemic of 1918. He was one of the few doctors who was like, "No, I'll come over to your house. I'll help you treat this."
Did they really have like a treatment for it other than a vaccination at the time, though?
He, as we know. He practices patent medicine.
Yeah. I'm saying like...
Did we talk about the patent medicine yet?
I think we did a little bit.
His eclectic medicine school focuses on herbal remedies, tinctures, over-the-counter medications, and things like that. So he would go in and basically say, "This is medicine I invented for the Spanish flu.
Yeah.
It's aspirin with mung beans in it," or something like that. You know, it's just BS. He would go to treat it. That doesn't mean he was successful.
Okay. I was like, well,
he would just be like, "Yeah, I have something like that."
I can see him taking in more people, and he's like, "Oh, this is the perfect opportunity to like just swindle at a low price and make big amounts of money." And then as soon as there was a TB vaccination that came out, wasn't there?
This is Spanish flu, not TB.
Sorry, not TB. There was a vaccination that rolled out for that, right?
I think later, yeah.
Later?
Yeah,
okay.
not this early.
I was just curious if he was like, oh, it came out, and he's like, oh, yeah, I'll fucking utilize it, but I'm still going to charge people for it.
No,
and slap the Brinkley logo on there. It's like two hanging, like, raisin cherries.
Yeah, exactly. No, I don't know, or I forgot what I was going to say. Sorry, I lost my train of thought entirely. But no, he was just... When a lot of doctors who followed mainstream medical science, that was actually science, they would say, "Hey, we don't have a treatment for this yet.
And
we are going to do these things to help alleviate the symptoms." And he would say, "I do have a treatment for this."
Great. Seems legit.
And in this time period, he was actually pretty good. He followed a lot of the standard treatments. And he kind of cruised until those flu rates started to go down. Mm-hmm. And he realized he needed to come up with his, like, the thing that he contributes to medical science. And he didn't know if it was going to be a tonic, a procedure, a treatment, but he just wanted to find something that would make him rich, famous, and go down in history.
Yeah.
Which is great motivation for a doctor.
Purified water.
Yeah. Alkaline water.
Yeah.
with lemon in it.
Cocaine water. I call it Coca-Cola.
Oh, fuck yeah. Just cocaine
Can you
in
imagine
water.
this shifts into a fucking creation of Coca-Cola?
No, this is 7-Up or something.
Oh, my God.
Lithium. It's a salt and a metal. But apparently also through this time period, he's seeing just people of the town for whatever ails them. And a lot of men are coming to him and saying, hey, I need a remedy for the sexually weak for one of my friends.
Doc, my dick
It's
don't
not for
work.
me.
Yeah.
It's not my dick. My friend's dick don't
he's
work.
He's too nervous
but he's
to
too
come
embarrassed
in
to come in.
himself.
Yeah.
So he created forhims.com.
Yeah, exactly. So, and at this point, he calls back on his years of experience, and he remembers his meat packing plant job. And there was one of these guys who was like, "Yeah, it's just not working. That 1919 ED is really hitting hard.
It's kind of odd. It's almost
it's hitting soft.
It's almost as if there's a 99% chance that your experience in the war is the reason why you're having ED, because you have debilitating PTSD, boss. God
Potentially.
damn.
But he told one of these patients, a pair of those buck glands in you would probably fix you right up.
Let me play with them balls for a minute, boy.
And the patient was like, yes, please put goat balls in me. The patient was like, yeah, do that. That sounds like it'll work.
Is that like the 1920 version of like Benoit balls? It's like anal. He does
Yeah.
anal beads, but with
they're
goat balls.
testicles. Oof. It's actually worse than that somehow. And the patient agreed for $150
At the time?
at the time, which is
Fuck.
$2,300. This guy was like, fix my boner. I will give you everything. I will give you 5 years worth of my
Yeah.
pay. So he did it.
Man, that 2,300 would have stretched a long way in about 10 years.
Yeah. So he
So what does he do?
this one, it's not entirely sure what happened, but he basically cut open this man's scrotum
No, he puts the balls in.
and put one ball in
That's going to give you sepsis.
and then tied it back up. Best case scenario for this, your body encapsulates and breaks it down. More commonly,
Absorbs
infection.
the ghost ball. Or not
Yeah,
ghost.
the goat
The
ball.
goat ball. Yeah.
It becomes a
I'm
ghost
too,
ball.
I'm too ready for Halloween. So.
Yeah, Halloween's on the mind.
I've got a couple of Spooktober episodes that are coming up.
So he says, oh, this guy survived. Must be a success. This can be my thing.
Pulls his cock and balls out. He's like, I've been doing fine. And he's got 10 balls and there are 8 fucking goat balls in his sack.
So he starts to market and perform a lot of different treatments and procedures based on this to restore, going back to his original total scam clinic, restore male virility and fertility. He, after showing that this was successful, he basically got the guy to say, like, hey, how do you feel? And he's like, I don't know what placebo is, but I feel great.
There's goat milk, and then there's goat milk.
He starts
God.
advertising this goat testicle surgery for $750.
Oh my! So the first guy somehow got a steal.
Yeah.
On the price.
That's $11,400 in today's money.
Yo, I'm just gonna be honest. If you're gonna do some silly shit to somebody's balls, do it to the rich people. Let's be honest here.
He was not targeting the rich people. He
Yeah,
was
but for
targeting anybody.
$750
You think there's a ton
though?
of rich people in Milford, Kansas? No, there are people selling shit. There are people getting on payment plans.
That's true.
He is exploiting insecure dudes.
Okay, so a bit of a derail real quick.
Okay.
It does have to do with this. So
Sure.
years ago, when I was a young teenager in a very Mormon household, on Friday and Saturday nights after like 11 p.m., there was a radio station that would play. And I know now, looking back on it, you're like, oh, boy. It was, oh, fuck. Who was the doctor? There's some like, it wasn't Dr. Phil or anything, but it was an actual doctor that would get on and he would take calls and he would bring on like edgy celebrities. Like one of them, he had like a porn star on there with him, and people would call in with like actual medical questions. Most of them were like, "Oh, I think I have herpes," and he would ask like probing questions and be like, "Okay, you need to go see a fucking physician." And then like his guests, which are always celebs, are like, "Whoa, that's crazy! I got a fucking stand-up comedy story about that." It was a product of the early 2000s, right?
Mm.
So there was one time, there was a guy that called in, addicted to black tar heroin, talked about how like, yeah, I've been blowing veins left and right. I've been shooting for like 2 years. I've found though, like I've even like injected into my fucking neck and shit. And the guy goes, I found a vein that worked really, really, really well in my penis.
Yep.
And the guy was like, and I've been using it fairly consistently for about a month. And he's like, but in the last week, my dick is like bulbous and it's like almost like solid black. And the dude was like, it hurts a lot. And I think he had, I don't remember what celeb he had on, but it was some
Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah. It was some comedian, and the guy like they end the phone call, and Dr. Drew, that's who it was. It was Dr. Drew.
Oh, man, that's a blast from the past.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
Big time. Which I know like now he's kind of one of those like not pseudo doctors, but he's kind of gone through the ringer with like some of his weird opinions.
Yeah.
But he refers him to this clinic, and the comedian goes, man, like there is nothing more similar, or like the ideology of men is so clear that like, hey, I'm shooting a black tar heroin. That's not a problem. Oh, I'm shooting it into my dick. That's not a problem. My penis looks fucking weird now. I need medical attention.
Yeah, 100%.
He's like, if that just doesn't encapsulate all of like how men think, it's just everything's cool until my dick starts having like problems or looking weird, and then we're gonna go get goat balls put into our sack.
Yep.
So that's my
derail.
My derail is that it has to do with it, but it's like it's funny that even back in the 1920s, we were still the same.
We're the same.
We were still
Also,
the fucking same.
Interesting that you bring up a medical show where people call in. Dr. Brinkley invented that.
Oh my God, I fucking
We'll talk about it later. He invented that format.
He had Charlie Chaplin on.
Yeah. It's like, I'm a communist and my dick really hurts.
Back when he had a full mustache.
Oh, yeah.
Charlie Chaplin wouldn't say anything because he only did silent films. So
yeah, it was a
what
really
do you think
awkward.
of that, Charlie?
He's holding up a sign that says
yes.
it's very interesting. So these surgeries were crude, dirty. He had goats like out back.
He had like two
but they weren't
scalpels.
super fresh.
He would rotate between two different scalpels.
He usually
one he used it on young white men, and the other one on old white men.
Yeah. He didn't usually even attach the balls. Sometimes he would like create a pseudo sac within the scrotum that would hold the ball.
In some of them, he would attach them.
Yeah, he would like sew them onto
okay. I was like
different structures.
I was imagining him like removing the vas deferens and fucking
and like reattaching it.
Using it.
He wasn't
no.
Well, you got to remember, he's had zero surgeon training, by the way.
Yeah.
He's totally like, yeah, I'm a doctor.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
This is me in like the garage. Yes, I'm a carpenter. It's like, no.
Yeah, exactly. And you just have 3 to 4 balls in your ball sack for a couple months.
Oh.
Until your body absorbed them, broke them down, and if you're lucky, didn't get infected and kill you first.
I feel like the problem is if your sack were to swell up to the size of a fucking grapefruit, it would be hard to tell because you have
4 balls
double the amount of balls in there, and it's like, oh, my fucking sack is swollen. It's like, no, it's just those extra balls.
Yeah.
It's just those fucking goat balls.
He also implanted goat balls and ovaries into women. For the ovaries, he would just kind of randomly slice into their abdomen and be like, that's probably where your ovaries are at, and then throw goat ovaries in there.
From across the room.
Yeah.
Kobe.
Yeah, Kobe, bonk. Ba-ting. And he also, there were some allegations that that came out later that he was usually drunk or on drugs doing a lot of these surgeries.
On his own drugs, yeah.
On his own drugs. And
Jesus.
sterility was basically not even a concept in his clinic. There's no such thing as sterility.
So, like, I know that this isn't going to do anything for these guys. What are the downsides of your body breaking down goat testicles inside your butt? Like, obviously, sterility is a very high potential, but like, what the fuck?
No,
else
sterility as in like clean.
Oh, I was
Clean,
thinking like
sterile.
you're
Not
fucking sterile.
not like you're sterile.
Oh, okay. But probably the same. I mean, both were probably not
I
in
mean,
his way of thinking.
so your body would just have like a massive response, like an immune system response to it, and it would swell. It would definitely swell, and because your body's basically viewing this as a foreign invader.
Yeah.
And it would just fight it and break it down. And because it was in the balls, these dudes weren't telling people about it.
It's rushing all of your fucking nutrients and everything to feed your white blood cells. You're getting more blood to your penis. I guess it would start to maybe work a little bit
at the same time, it's the perfect, like, the emperor in no clothes. It's the perfect, like, none of these dudes want to talk to their homies who also got the goat ball testicle surgery when everyone's saying, it's great, it works great.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to say,
it doesn't.
Mine got infected.
Yeah.
Or
I don't have a cock and balls anymore.
It's just one grapefruit down
because
there.
I went to a real hospital and they had to remove it all.
Yeah, exactly.
I look like a Ken doll now.
So they buffed and polished me. Yeah, so they just didn't have...
I don't have to worry about my broken penis because I don't have one anymore.
Yeah. So it really created this environment of everybody saying positive things about this surgery despite not getting anything going and actually being negative. And it just fueled the cycle.
If you don't know the Emperor's new clothes or whatever that fucking story is, if you don't know it, look it up on YouTube but type Muppets after.
Yes.
And there's a little Muppets play of it. Check it out.
Perfect. The thing that really came out during this time period was that while he was not a fantastic surgeon or doctor, he was a great, genius marketer.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
A fantastic advertiser. This is going back to those infomercial
I was going to say, because he was good at this before he was arrested, right? Back when he was working with his old crime buddy.
Yeah, Burke or whatever.
Yeah, they had their, like, rolling show. I don't remember what it was that they did.
Yeah, when he was traveling with his first wife as the Quakers.
Yeah,
they set up their electric medicine from Germany scam. Yeah, so he starts a campaign about how an older man got his surgery and was able to conceive a son that they named Billy, like Billy Goat.
Billy Goat Gruff.
And this will likely be on the Patreon or on the Instagram. Yeah, it was just a picture of him holding a child saying, "This child was born after I inserted a goat testicle into this older man's scrotum."
All I can think of during this whole thing is that fucking A24 movie where it's that like
lamb or whatever.
Lamb or like goat person, that little baby that's like a human goat. I just keep imagining him holding that.
It was basically like that. And it's just crazy that they call him Billy. Like, the ad was a hit.
It's so fucked. That's so fucked up to call him
crazy.
Billy.
And he starts pushing this surgery as a cure, not just for male virility issues, but from everything from dementia to flatulence. Man. He immediately goes back to the
cure
farts.
All. Yeah.
You farting too much?
Yeah.
Come get a goat testicle or two and inject it into your balls.
Is your husband making the stink at night? Is his sphincter relaxing too often? Just put my Dr. Brinkley's goat balls. One surgery, it's a cure-all.
Yep. And he hires an advertising agent. He creates a mail campaign that shows that his surgery could turn any old soy boy into, this is a quote from his advertisement campaign, the ram that am with every lamb.
The ram that am with every lamb.
Basically saying, you get the goat balls, you can fuck anyone, any woman.
Ram the lamb at any Amtram.
But
See,
I just love how
my
terrible
thing
it
is
is.
better.
It
you
is.
can ram the lamb at any Amtram.
But only on trains?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You travel via train because
Yeah.
your
Oh, 'cause it's
balls,
the early
your
1900s.
dick and balls are too
They're
big to
so
fit
big.
into a car.
Yeah. And, maybe he flew a little too close to the sun with his advertising campaign because
Ooh, a little Icarus comparison
it
there.
put him under the radar of the American Medical Association. They heard his claims.
no.
They were like, nothing of what he's saying is based in science.
Yeah. Who would have thought? This is the second time they've had a problem with him, isn't it?
This is, yeah.
Because the first time he got arrested.
That wasn't with the American Medical Association didn't really care about that first arrest.
Oh, okay.
Because they were like, oh, they caught him.
Yeah.
So this time, they sent one of their doctors undercover to his clinic as a potential customer.
Imagine being that guy, like selling somebody on you need to go in and try to get this surgery. And he's like, but what if he puts me under? Well, then we'll take the goat testicles out when you get back. I don't want the goat
I don't
testicles
want the goat
in
testicles.
me.
So the undercover doctor reported terrible, disgusting conditions. It was gross and nasty. And he just found a lady hobbling around the clinic who just had surgery to cure a spinal tumor by implanting goat ovaries near her spine.
He separated her spine, took out the little padding, and just put a goat ball
Put a
on there,
goat
and then
ball. Yeah,
squished
it.
It's not a herniated disc anymore.
Yeah, so he was saying, I can cure your tumors in your spine by throwing goat ovaries in there.
no.
So she was just like hobbling around in horrible pain.
I'd imagine he has like the dirty conditions is that it's a goat farm connected to his
Yeah, the goats
and
probably
it's-
just walk
and it's
in.
open, and he
Yeah.
just like he wrangles one in, chops off its testicles, and then sends it back out
Yeah.
to the vet who like fucking sutures everything and is like, okay, cool.
No, I'm
So
100%
they're
sure he's
doing
just killing these
They're
goats.
doing a goat neutering right next
yeah,
door.
right in the same. It's on the same table. It's like, we can only afford one table, so you get that half, I'll get this half.
Hold
Bring a goat up.
its legs for me while
Yeah.
I get these removed.
Hey,
Sorry, I
he's,
cut your sack open first. I did this out of order.
Yeah, he's trying to go after this man's actual balls. Hold down the head for a minute.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure Dr. Brinkley is just like strangling these goats and then taking their balls or something.
Yeah, strangling it in the room.
Yeah, he's like, all right, well, one moment before we get some anesthetic.
Let's come with me. We're gonna find.
Yeah, you get to choose.
Yeah, you get to choose which goat we're gonna take. Oh God, dude.
So in 1920, this is his rising fame, and it immediately goes to his head. It went to his head before he even had fame. John Romulus shows up to a demonstration of Sergei Voronov, who was a legitimate, well, somewhat. He was more in the mainstream, and he was following up on experiments to graft monkey testicles onto a dude.
So a mad scientist and a pseudoscientist. meet
Well,
up.
at this point, we didn't know if you could suture glands onto humans. The difference is he was actually like attaching them,
Yeah.
bringing in vascular
Yeah.
like systems, and not just throwing them in a sack. So John shows up. He was not invited.
Oh, I do the same thing as you.
He gets blocked by the door because this guy is like, no, you're a quack doctor. I'm trying to actually push forward the idea that could we attach these glands to humans and could there be an effect?
It wasn't even security holding him out. It was just Sergey on the other side. He's like, I am not letting you in. Stay the fuck out, John.
Get out of here. But the press saw him, and this elevated his image because they
Of
start.
course, yeah.
They start, rotating these stories. Oh, this guy
The
was
medical
here at this.
Association doesn't want you to know what John Romulus
Yeah.
is doing. Yeah.
He was here, and this was big. And he gets
ye old
asked.
Joe Rogan move.
Yeah. He gets asked to perform his testicle surgery at a hospital in Chicago in front of the press.
And he was like, I'll do it outside.
Yeah, we could just do it right here on the concrete. So he did. And he did it 34 times in that demonstration.
Oh, my God.
34 people were like, yeah, you can cut open my ball sack in front of the press. There's a guy with one of those big cameras with a flashbulb.
He has them all lined up next to it's like in a circle.
Yeah,
and
so he gets to spin.
he's just on a rolly chair.
Perfect.
And it's the same. He just goes
Yeah.
with his scalpel. It's the same,
same
scalpel
scalpel,
on
yeah.
everybody. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Of course.
So he has 34.
Hey, he wipes it off on his sleeve.
You
sometimes.
said he had 34.
Yeah.
So on half of it, it's 34 men, and on the other half, it's 34 rams.
Yeah, goats.
And so he just cuts everybody's open, and then removes and puts them in.
Perfect.
It's a nice little assembly line.
The story was so impressive and kind of propagandized by the press that the owner of the LA Times flew him to California and said,
God.
do this surgery on my editor. Which is really funny.
Only in the fucking U.S. Only in the U.S. you would get some bullshit like that. I bet the editor didn't even have a say.
Yeah, probably not. He said,
He
you
just
want your
gets
job?
into work and he's like, hey, your dick doesn't work, right? And
Yeah,
he's like,
I can
no,
tell.
it works fine. Well, it's going to work better now. Excuse me?
So the LA Times owner said, if the surgery is successful, you can prove it to me right here, then I will make you famous.
Is he not already?
He's big, but he's not LA Times big.
My mistake. Excuse me. Fucking. This is ridiculous.
With the help of the LA Times editor, he gets a temporary a temporary medical license in California. He does the surgery. They consider it a success because it's like the next day, and the guy's like, yeah, it's kind of tender,
sick.
but I mean, I guess I got a boner. What? And this skyrocketed his fame.
I guess I got a boner, but I didn't have problems getting them before because I didn't need this surgery.
Yeah. He starts getting tons of high-profile Hollywood actors
God.
as patients. He had this dream of moving his clinic to L.A., leaving that Kansas lifestyle behind. But his
Fucking
medical license
sellout.
application in California was denied because
Praise the Lord.
the American Medical Association reviewed it and reviewed his resume and said, that's a fake school. This license only lets you operate
It's a fake one.
in eight states, and this is not one of them. And you lied about all these things. Oh, this on your resume, it actually shows that you were performing medical surgery.
The 8 states are all southern states.
Yes, they are actually. They 100% are. And this shows that, you were practicing medicine before you actually finished school and got licensed. So no, we're not going to do this. Like, this is crazy. And most of this investigation was really done by a Dr. Morris Fishbein. B-E-I-N.
Yeah.
Fishbein?
Fishbein.
Fishbein sounds cool.
Fishbein.
Fishbein. So Fishbein, Dr. Fishbein, I'm going to call him that because I like it.
Yeah, it sounds better.
This was a man who devoted his entire life to exposing medical quacks. Not the man that Dr. J. Romulus Brinkley, he never went by
His
that.
worst nightmare.
Yeah. He is known for advocating for the regulation of medical devices. He is hated by the modern chiropractic community still to this day because he exposed them back in the early 1900s saying, no, chiropractic shit is not, it's pseudoscience. It's fake. And he almost ended the practice entirely before World War II,
Jesus.
but there was a resurgence.
So
Because just like cockroaches, chiropractors still exist.
when
And they keep coming back.
When Brinkley got shut down in California, did he just set up in like Las Vegas, Nevada? He's
No.
like, I'm only a 4-hour trip away. God, Nevada's like, yeah, fuck it.
Nope, he went back to Kansas
Oh, okay.
and expanded his clinic.
Oh, God.
He went back to Milford. He expanded his clinic drastically, and he started because he knew these Hollywood actors would fly in, but he wanted them to be comfortable while they're there.
Yeah.
And he also had
In
this
Kansas.
fantastic idea. And he had this fantastic idea that he learned from the owner of the LA Times. He saw the potential for advertising on radio. So at this point, you weren't really, nobody really advertised on radio. You didn't really have ads yet.
Yeah.
It was just a couple radio shows every once in a while. Usually not even a ton of music yet.
Yeah. Because this is what, early 30s?
This is 20s, early 20s.
Oh, okay.
I just scrolled up on accident all the way to the top. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, perfect. So he built his own radio station and called it KFKB, Kansas First, Kansas Best.
Oh God, dude.
In 1923.
Why does that sound like some MAGA shit?
It really
Good
does
God.
sound like some MAGA shit.
This is what led to fucking Trump.
Yeah.
Good God.
And
Kansas First, Kansas Best.
And this was perfect timing because at this point, newspapers all around the country were reporting on diploma mills and the doctors that came from them.
Okay.
So, and that included John Brinkley.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
up to this
He
point,
falls
for
under that.
years, Dr. Fishbane has been writing in American Medical Association, like, medical journals, shit about this guy. The problem is, people in Kansas don't read medical journals. Most people in the U.S.
you could have
don't
ended
read.
that sentence earlier.
Oh, yeah,
They
don't read. Yeah. So he's actually, this Fishbean is making speeches and publishing these articles exposing these diploma mills. It's big news, but all he has to do is turn on his radio and sit down and say, because he's going into their home.
Yeah.
And in fact,
God, it's like a fucking pirate radio.
it's kind of
Jesus
like a pirate
Christ.
radio, and he actually invents a type of pirate radio that I'll tell you about later. California is handing down indictments to doctors who are across the country who are fake, who have been through
Doing
diploma
what
mills,
he-
who have been doing
yeah.
what he's doing. So they actually came to arrest John in Kansas,
Oh, shit.
but the governor of Kansas, Jonathan Davis, refused to extradite him. Let me tell you what
We don't
John Bronkley's been
extradite
doing.
to California.
Nope. Kansas is making a shitload of money off Brinkley. This is from
Oh, yeah, true.
people
Because
traveling.
their tourist industry is fucking booming all
People
of a
are
sudden.
coming in.
And it's celebrities are showing up, so people are coming to see the celebrities.
People are spending money.
Yeah.
But not only that, I mean, he has to pay taxes on this shit, and he's
Yeah,
actually
that's
paying
true.
taxes, which is strange. And because he's making so much money from these surgeries, they're getting a shitload from the taxes. But he also he does a lot of weird shit. So
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah.
Color me surprised.
he takes to the radio, and he frames this as him beating the American Medical Association that because they're not willing to support his radical new surgery. They want you to stay sick so that they can treat them. They don't want a cure. Basically, the whole big pharma has a
Yeah,
cure for
yeah.
cancer. They just don't want it. It's that.
Yeah. I have it. They just don't. They're not making money on it, so they don't want anybody.
They don't want
to
anybody
know
to do
about
it. Yeah. Exactly.
Jesus.
He also kind of invented country music
What?
by bringing local regional bands and artists and blasting them on the radio. It turned it from, this is just like a regional music thing to, everyone in the South should listen to this music. Oh, this is like Southern country music. and it kind of spread. So fuck him for that too.
All of the songs are like based around Dr. Brinkley and his goat balls.
Yeah.
and the
100%.
surgeries and shit. He's like, just slip a little bit of it in there, like subliminal advertising.
Yeah, and
just like say goat balls twice in every song,
yeah, easy.
at least once in your chorus.
But yeah, add that to another negative thing he contributed to society,
Yeah,
country
God,
music.
it's so bad.
And he even started bringing in international customers.
What?
People from outside of the country were flying in
How are they?
and making money and making him a ton of money.
How far is his fucking radio signal
The radio's
going?
a couple states
Okay,
around,
but
but
it's just word is
it's
getting
just
out to everyone.
the LA Times guy is blasting him like he's a god. The Chicago Times is blasting like he's big news. And he starts just spending hours a day on his radio station.
He went fucking viral before it was even a thing.
He did.
Jesus
100%.
Christ.
He would basically shame people about their insecurities into getting his treatment, which is genius and exactly how modern advertising is done because he basically invented modern advertising.
if you've never fucked your wife on goat balls, you've never fucked your wife.
Your wife will leave you if you get a soft penis once in a while. So he's way ahead of his time in his advertising. Like, I cannot stress this I cannot stress this enough. He is so ahead of time. He then starts to do all sorts of other stuff on the radio. When he's not there, he would do language lessons. You want to learn French? Listen between here and here. He would bring on bands, astrology lessons, which is fantastic. He would do your horoscope or something.
Which is goofy. It's like, okay, like he's helping to make radio quote unquote better in a way. Revolutionizing radio.
No, he's just trying to get people to listen to him.
At the same time, yeah, it's just
all a ploy to get people to listen to him.
It's all just advertising.
My favorite thing is that he would bring on exotic music from Hawaii and play that every once in a while.
Was he the first to do the music on the radio kind of stuff?
Much.
Or
yeah,
'cause this is late 20s. This is
late 20s.
Yeah, this is some crazy shit.
And yeah, he's the biggest to have done it. Definitely.
Damn.
I'm not saying he's the first, but
yeah,
he
but
definitely
go state state
that
to state,
big,
multiple states and everything.
So he's huge. And with this wealth that he's getting, and I'll tell you how he gets even more wealth from the radio, but he buys Milford an entirely new sewer system. He builds sidewalks in the town. He installs electricity in their entire town.
He started the company Manscaped.
Yeah. How did you know? And hymns. He built apartments because he needed more workers. So he built all his workers' apartments. And then
What the
he...
fuck? I hate him because I'm like, fuck you, because these are good things you're doing to the community, but also fuck you,
But
man.
everything he's doing for the community is to benefit himself.
I know, but it's also still benefiting the fucking
Yeah,
community.
exactly. He even builds them a new post office because they're getting too much mail to handle. Partly because he's just getting mail from doctors and from fans and everything.
Hate mail, fan mail,
Yeah,
requests.
everything. But he also is selling things on the radio through the mail.
Oh.
Which is fucking genius.
He's like a little radio Sears Roebuck.
Yeah, pretty much. And I'll get into what he was specifically selling in a little bit. But
damn, he was doing fucking store streams before it blew up on Twitch.
He sponsors a baseball team, and they call themselves the Brinkley Goats.
What the fuck? No.
If I could find a jersey that says the Brinkley Goats on it,
it should have been.
100%.
It should have been the Brinkley Billies.
The Brinkley Balls.
Brinkley Billies is
The
a
Brinkley
good one.
Billies is good.
But to be fair, then he would have to pay little baby Billy for likeness.
No, he'd probably just have to strangle him.
Yeah, just cut his balls off and let him bleed to death.
Yeah. He wanted, at this point, he was very wealthy. He was making a ton of money, but he wanted more credentials.
Fucking baseball.
To kind of protect
Jesus
himself
Christ.
from anybody saying, oh, you're not legit. So he toured Europe in 1925.
What the fuck?
And
He toured Europe before the Beatles did? What the hell?
Yeah. He toured Europe, going to different universities, trying to get an honorary degree, which he did get an honorary, surgeon degree from a college in Italy. Now, I'm going out of timeline right here about that because I thought it was really interesting. Within a few years, the Italian government was pressured by a dude named Max Thoreau, who was he would be the founder of the International College of Surgeons, and actually he was a teacher of John Brinkley and Dr. Fishbane.
Fishbane. Jesus.
And he pressured them, the Italian government, into revoking the degree a couple of years later, which Mussolini actually did. Imagine being such a scumbag that Mussolini revokes your degree.
What the fuck, dude? God,
Isn't that crazy?
How is he everywhere in history? This feels like a...
How is he connected to everything?
This
Mussolini was aware of Dr. Brinkley.
feels like a fucking weird... I don't watch Doctor Who, but it feels like a Doctor Who episode.
It's fucking weird.
Somebody that went back in time and was like, I'm going to touch every fucking thing in history.
And Dr. Fishbane is so frustrated because he's spending years exposing this guy and nobody's listening.
Yeah.
He's found that dozens of people who've gone through this surgery are dead. Probably from the surgery.
Yeah.
Or lost their balls entirely, or
No,
all
they
these
didn't-
things.
They didn't die from the surgery. They died of sepsis.
Yeah,
Two
well, they
different-
died
two
after.
very different
They got an
things, yeah.
infection later.
Yeah, they died of a generalized infection. I didn't find any goat balls anywhere in him.
Yeah, there you go.
There was a lot of pus in his genital area, but there was a lot of pus everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
And yeah, he's like, my only power is to publish within these medical journals, but Dr. Brinkley was able to get into everybody's homes through his radio, so he beat him.
God damn.
Again, he expanded his business, saying that there's a new treatment to help with prostate problems that he wants to start pushing out, because these goat balls surgeries are very expensive. So he wanted kind of like a poor person version.
Yeah, he's like, hey, I can fix it, but I can also give you the goat balls light.
Yeah, and he basically called it prostate rejuvenation.
Oh god.
I have no idea what he did, but I like to
it's
imagine
anal
he just
beads.
sliced them.
Yeah,
He sliced up the prostate.
it's fucking goat balls that he's filleted, so they're just flat, and then he just rolls it all up and lets it dry. And he's like, "Fuck yourself with this,
With this.
7 times a week." God.
Even better, he invents a new segment for his radio called the Medical Question Box, where you would write in, present your issue, and he would suggest a treatment.
Oh my god, dude.
First time a doctor had done this,
Yeah.
as far as I know, on the planet.
I mean, it probably worked back then. People actually sent good stuff in. In 7th grade, when it happened for me, everybody just made fun of the paralyzed lesbian teacher that I had with their question. That was fucked up.
What the fuck?
Yeah. In my science class, I had a paralyzed lesbian teacher. She's in a little wheelchair, and she's like, "Everyone write your questions for sex ed." It went bad. It went really fucking
God.
bad.
Were they like, oh no.
It was, yeah. Imagine 13-year-olds in that situation. Not a good,
Not
good
good.
place.
Oh god.
So
So-
I'd imagine it. He kind of dealt with some weird shit, but fuck him. Yeah, I'm sure he deserved it.
This is actually genius, because he would only suggest proprietary treatments that he invented that you could only buy from a Brinkley Pharmaceutical
Oh my God,
Association
of course.
branded pharmacy.
So it's not even that he's probably seeing stuff that he doesn't even know what the fuck it is. People are like, "Hey, I have this weird medical condition," and he's like, "Oh,
go use tonic
Yeah.
17C.
drinking goat piss helps." But only Dr. Brinkley's goat piss.
No, so basically,
Yeah,
a
it's just
pharmacy
more sales for him to push.
would contact him and say, "Hey, I want to be in your pharmacy association," and then they would pay him a licensing fee, and then he would basically tell them what his meds were or send them his patented medicine, and then they could advertise it in their store, and then every sale they would have to send him a kickback.
Yeah.
So he made absolute fuck you amount of money from this.
It doesn't surprise me. Holy shit.
He sent other pharmacies out of business.
That's insane.
Because he would say, "Oh, I have this rat." He would probably write half the questions himself,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and he would say "Oh, what's a generic thing? I have a cold.
Yeah, I was
have the
gonna
common
say.
cold. Okay, go to your Brinkley associated pharmacy and buy this tincture. It costs twice as much as anything else you'd get at a pharmacy.
And it's
But it
just
works.
boiled water.
Yeah,
God.
boiled dyed water.
Yeah, boiled well water.
Yeah,
God.
and it just exploded. This scheme raised $14,000 a week for
Holy
him.
shit. 14,000 1920s money?
Yep, $13.2 million a year. Luckily, it only went on for a year or two.
Fuck.
And again, there's tons of evidence coming out. People reaching out to other doctors saying, "Hey, these treatments fucking killed me. Hey, my dick fell off."
Yeah.
Or just any of his other surgeries or tinctures and stuff just not working.
Oh my God, dude.
But the American Medical Association couldn't do anything besides just talking about him publicly.
Yeah, because this fucking
'Cause
city
the,
isn't.
the governor
Yeah.
is basically said,
state,
"We will
yeah.
never extradite him."
Yeah. God damn.
So finally, it has been years. Kansas City Star a newspaper operation in Kansas City, obviously. They were running a competing radio station, and they ran a series that presented facts and evidence against John and his treatments.
Kansas City Star, based out of Houston, Texas.
Yeah. And this led to a little bit of distrust.
So this
Competing radio station.
So was it like more of a local thing, or were they hitting all of the areas that he was broadcasting?
They were hitting
to?
The same areas he was, because they were competing directly against him.
I wasn't sure if it was like theirs is only like localized, but
no, same about thing. And
he was on like 93.3 and they were on like 93.5.
Yeah. And in 1930, the Kansas Medical Board held a hearing to decide if they should revoke his fake diploma after some public backlash.
Okay.
People are pissed. Turns out, he had signed 43 death certificates for people who had been to his clinic and had arrived healthy. And
In
then
what period of time?
3 years.
Holy shit.
43 people had come in completely healthy and had died before they were done with his treatments.
It's almost fucking 15 a year, bro.
That's pretty wild. And that's only the ones that they could prove.
Yeah.
Because there are tons of people who would go to the surgery, say, I'm never going back to that doctor again, and went to another doctor and then died.
Or went and got the surgery where it's like, hey, this is great, and then 3 weeks later died at home.
Exactly.
Jesus.
And it's really impossible to know how much damage he actually did.
Enough.
Yeah, plenty. But they revoked his license.
Thank God.
And he's pissed.
Oh, boy.
So the Federal Radio Commission, which is kind of the prequel to the FCC, they refused to renew his broadcasting license because they discovered his radio was 90% advertising and violated international treaties.
Oh, shit.
Because I'm pretty sure it could be picked up outside of the country at this point.
Oh, yeah, fuck. Well, good. Shut him down.
He sued, but it was upheld. And the case is it's called the Brinkley ruling. It is still used in radio law. It is still referred to in radio law today. And this seems like this is the end of Dr. John Romulus Brinkley.
Do you know what, like, the ultimate ruling is? Just that you can't...
You can't violate international treaties, whether or not you're aware of them.
I see. I wasn't sure if it only affected, like, radio shit or...
It's just
like,
radio.
What it was.
It's just a radio...
Okay.
Yeah, it's just using radio law. 3 days after losing his medical license, he began a campaign to be elected governor of Kansas.
Oh, of course he did.
So he still had his radio at this point.
Yeah, because he can grant everything back to himself if he becomes fucking governor.
Yeah, literally his idea was once he was elected, he could stuff the medical board with his bros, and then they would grant him his medical license back.
Good old fascism.
And so he had a couple months where he still had his radio license, and he used that to campaign on a vague populist campaign. A state lake in every country was one of his...
What?
I have no idea what that means.
A state lake in every country.
I meant county.
Oh, in every county. Even more preposterous. How?
What does that mean?
How?
He's going to go dig them.
So which one would be the state lake, or is the entire county now the state? What the fuck?
No. It would be a state lake in every county.
Yeah.
So like public land. You go out boating in every county. That sounds great,
God,
guys.
Dude.
Or he would say free textbooks and more education for blacks.
We'll reroute the Mississippi to your county.
Yeah.
Fill the lake and then unroute it to your county. What the fuck?
He also loved to say this, lower taxes. But he could not specify what that meant, how the impact.
Sounds familiar.
Here you go. Old age pensions.
What?
Okay, you're lowering taxes, but how are you going to get the money for old age pensions?
65-year-old retirement. Yeah.
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 Okay.
Lower taxes. Okay. How?
So he brings on music stars, especially the people that he's made into stars.
I like to imagine that's what he called them. Music stars. It's
Yeah.
like the fucking headline.
He would bring on people who spoke Swedish and German onto the station to campaign for him because there were a lot of Swedish and German immigrants in the area.
Oh, okay. I was like, what the fuck? Okay.
And He hires a pilot to drop him off at all of the rallies for no reason because it looks cool. They flew Charles Lindbergh's old plane, that Nazi fuck.
Damn, he did the fucking
I think it's called
Swift.
The Romancer, I think is the name of the
The
plane.
Taylor Swift
He's basically
regulars flying
this
from
is,
fucking county to county.
To give you an idea, a modern reference for this, better than the Taylor Swift one, is like, say, a presidential candidate using Jeffrey Epstein's Lolita Express to fly to every rally. Very similar.
If
Very
not
interesting.
identical.
So he...
Good Lord.
he then-
Mind you,
Yes.
this isn't just someone running for governor. This is a millionaire.
Yes.
In today's money, definitely a billionaire running for governor using an X. What the fuck, man? Like, this guy, he's like if you took Donald Trump and instead of doing his fucking college scam, he did medical scams.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, this is like if you went to Trump Hospital.
Trump Hospital, yeah. Trump Hospital, get your ball surgery.
Oh, no.
So he ran a bunch of ads. This one, I'll go through, I'll pick and choose around it. But basically, the platform upon which J.R. Brinkley is standing for the office of governor of the state is the man himself. 13 years ago, he returned from the Great War, having offered his life for his country.
Wow.
He located in an obscure crossroad town, Milford, believing Emerson's maxim, "To him who builds even a superior mousetrap, the world will beat a path to his door."
Dude, he left the war because he was bedridden in a psych ward for 2 months.
Yeah, the fact that he's phrasing it like he's a fucking war hero, and that he went to this town and put it on the map, which he did do that.
After a small loan of $1 million from his father, John Brinkley.
Now, his father-in-law, rich doctor who bailed him out of prison, if you remember that. Fighting impaired health, having no finances, and having the opposition of his profession. Oh, so now the other doctors are bad. Man. Bringing that in. He has builded, I love that, he has builded the Brinkley institutions by sheer force of his determination. Courage, hard work, and stick-to-itiveness have been the tools by which he has carved out success.
Goodness gracious.
Then this prophet began teaching truth to the masses, a dangerous procedure even in this year of our Lord 1930. His simple advice for the relief of minor ailments and his warnings against unnecessary surgery brought the condemnation of organized medicine.
It's fucking ironic.
Without just trial by a jury of his peers, his license to practice his life work in Kansas was taken from him.
That's not true. It was a fucking jury of his peers because it was the American medical fucking...
It was at the Kansas Medical Board.
Yeah.
Supported
So
by the
those
American
are
Medical
his peers.
Association. Yep.
Well, I mean, I guess not because they're not pseudoscientists and pseudo doctors, but based on the fact that he's under the guise of a real medical license, that is a fucking jury of your peers. Mm-hmm. You're just underqualified.
Vilification, false statements, and ridicule have been and are now being used to destroy this man who has dared to speak for the common people. Therefore, we, his friends, present this platform of a man. The platform of a man's personality and achievements as reasons for his election as governor of Kansas. These are the planks: fearlessness, independence, sympathy for the masses, a rare executive ability of a successful citizen of Kansas. His very challenge to the people of the state to elect him governor by writing J.R. Brinkley on the blank line beneath the names of the other candidates and making the X in the square following his written name marks him as an outstanding leader.
I love that he can't even run as an independent. He has to be running as a fucking write-in.
He's a write-in.
Hell yeah.
Advertisement inserted and paid for by friends and supporters of J.R. Brinkley for governor in this community, which means he wrote it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fuck this guy. Like, the lies, the irony in these posts, it's fantastic.
Good God.
But yeah, he starts doing these publicity stunts. He's flying in. Yeah. Like, they're landing and he's getting off and he's, like, doing the rally right there.
Doing a weird little jerk-off dance.
A little jerk-off dance. He's, when being asked questions, he gives non-answers and kind of Just says whatever he thinks kind of sounds good.
Yeah. Non-answers, but then immediately starts vilifying like
Everyone else. Yeah.
yeah,
3
people
days.
that aren't even like in the question. He starts like shitting on Mussolini for some.
Yeah. He would never do that. 3 days before the election, the attorney general who had prosecuted Brinkley within the medical board had announced that rules for writing candidates had changed, and they had to write J.R. Brinkley's name in a very specific way, which was different from the way he'd been advertising.
Oh, hell yeah.
I mean, pretty scummy to change the rules 3
Very
days.
scummy, but it's also like,
But thank God.
fuck you.
Exactly. He got 29.5% of the vote with 180,000 votes and lost, which was interesting.
He got almost 30% of the vote?
Yep.
Oh my God, dude.
The attorney general later revealed that if they had counted all the votes for Brinkley that were written incorrectly or spelled incorrectly, he would have won, become governor,
Oh my
and would have been an
God.
expected outcome for Kansas.
100% he would have ended up a senator.
Oh, easy.
If not trying to be president.
100%.
Holy shit. What year was that?
Like 1930.
Jesus.
And
Can you imagine Brinkley instead of FDR?
dude,
that could have
well,
happened.
hear me out.
That's another timeline.
We talked about Charles Lindbergh and why he was a Nazi fuck. There's a reason he's helping
Oh,
Brinkley
yeah, that's a good point.
with his campaign.
Yeah.
Brinkley is a neo-Nazi. Well, I guess just a Nazi at that point.
Yeah.
Brinkley is a little bit of a Nazi. He kind of
Jesus.
agrees with what's going on in Central Europe right now.
Yeah, yeah.
He kind of agrees that the Jews are holding him down because Dr.
He
Fishbane,
seems like the type that's like,
Maybe
I
Jewish.
agree with eugenics. God
he's also
damn.
kind of like that. So 2 years later, he also ran in 1932 for governor. Without the power of radio, he got 30.6% of the vote, 244,607 votes.
Jesus.
Barely
Christ.
lost. Barely lost. So he is not able to get his license back. He's lost governor race twice. Been 2 years. He still has money. He sells his radio station and he moves to a little town known as Del Rio, Texas.
Oh, God.
Because
He's going to win in Texas.
the Mexican government enters this
Oh,
this story.
oh, no.
The Mexican government is pissed off because the U.S. divided up all the radio frequencies without assigning them any. So they're like, Canada and the U.S. can have radio frequencies. Nobody in South America even knows what radio is or something.
Oh, my God.
So they're pissed. So they fund a high-powered radio station just over the border
Yeah.
on their...
For Brinkley.
And they say, hey, Brinkley, you can use this radio.
You're the radio guy we know and love because you've been broadcasting over our borders for God knows how long.
They give him a 50,000-watt radio license.
Jesus.
And the full facility, built everything. And he invents what we now know as border blasting,
yeah.
which is where basically, it's so strong, it interferes with similar frequencies. So they just give him a frequency, and it starts fucking with U.S. radio frequencies.
God, dude.
And they just say, yeah, do whatever. Keep the airwaves filled because it'll fuck up other
Yeah.
people's stations. This is how we're going to get our revenge on the U.S. government.
We won't extradite you when the FRC comes your way.
Yeah. And Brinkley calls this the Sunshine Station between the nations.
Of course he does. Jesus.
He begins broadcasting October 1931. So even before that second run.
Yeah.
He runs for governor again in 1934, loses again, but he uses the radio. And the radio was so strong at this point that you could hear it all the way in Kansas.
Holy shit.
And within a few months, the Mexican government basically upgraded him from 50,000 watts to 1 million watts.
Jesus. A small loan of 1 million watts.
His broadcast could now be heard into Canada
Jesus.
and was the strongest radio station on the planet.
Oh my. All of Mexico's fucking power grid is being
It's
pushed
just
into this
blasting
guy's
into this.
fucking radio.
Yeah. It was so strong that in Del Rio, Texas, and towns around there, it would turn on car headlights. It would make bed springs vibrate.
Oh my God.
It would interrupt phone calls, and people claimed to hear it from the metal fence posts when they're out working on the
That's
ranches,
fucking insane.
and from their metal fillings in their teeth.
Oh my god, dude, that's
It's
fucked.
it's so fucked up.
That's so intrusive.
So funny because they're just like in a field. They come across like a fence post, and you can hear Dr. Brinkley.
I can't get his voice out of my fucking head.
And then your car battery is fucking dead because the headlight turned on last night.
You can't go anywhere in the U.S. without your metal filling, like him playing from your mouth.
Yeah.
He's taking my ability to speak.
It sounds like hell, honestly.
Oh, my God. And on top of that, I bet he's still playing country music, so it's even worse.
And he keeps doing medical shows. He keeps advertising his medical treatments, his pharmacy network.
You're at a funeral and you're crying, but every time you open your mouth to cry, you're like, he's fucking...
Dr. Brinkley's boner pills.
Yeah. Get ghost testicles in your testicles. Oh, my God.
And he starts pushing new treatments like mercurochrome injections, which is mercury and chrome. Two things you do not want to inject into your body. It was used as similar like iodine. Yeah. And it was banned a while ago. I've talked about it. I don't know if it was on the show, but I talked about it before.
Jesus.
And so he starts advertising these crazy treatments. He lived in a hotel in Del Rio, Texas, that had a medical clinic in it.
Oh my God, what the fuck?
And they just were like, yeah, you can do prostate surgery here. We don't have to prove that you have a medical license.
It's not a medical clinic. It was just a spare room with a fucking gurney in it.
So he starts doing his prostate rejuvenation surgeries just in a hotel. Imagine getting prostate surgery. Imagine you're at a hotel for the weekend. You're seeing a game or something, and there's a little ad, a knock at the door, and a paper slides under, and it says prostate rejuvenation surgery, $100.
Room 14.
Go to room 14, and then you do, and you go and you get a prostate surgery at a hotel medical clinic.
Jesus Christ. Or you're hearing these ads and you're like, oh, I'm interested in that. And you go and it's at a fucking motel.
Yeah. It's a Super 8.
In one of their fucking units.
It's in the drained pool. They call it the operating theater.
It's sterilized because of the chlorine. God damn.
I just think it's wild to get a prostate surgery not in a hospital. Maybe that's crazy.
Wild to get a prostate surgery and it has anything to do with goat balls.
Well, yeah, that too. And then he started selling airtime. He was like, "Wow, it's pretty rough to run this whole radio station. So for $1,700 an hour, you can put in your own advertisement."
Holy shit, dude!
That is $31,000 in today's money.
God damn!
And people did it. And you know what they were selling? Crazy water crystals.
Oh my God, of course.
Genuine simulated diamonds. Life insurance. Autographed photos of Jesus Christ.
Of course it was just other scammers.
And then just country singers.
It's the only people who had $31,000 to throw at it.
Successful Southern scammers, yeah. Country singers, and it was so many country singers were coming on and paying for this time because, it's blasting to the entirety of the U.S., parts of South Africa, Jesus Christ, South America, and into Canada. You pay $31K. That's a lot of coverage for your country band.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So all these big successful country music stars were coming to Del Rio, Texas.
Oh, my God.
And they ended up calling it Hillbilly Hollywood because it only had famous people, 2 people in the South.
Jesus Christ.
And his, let's say, innovation led to dozens of other radio stations being built in Mexico on the border because it was banned in 1932 that if you were doing mind reading, fortune tellers, or they called them spooks, you could not be on the radio in the U.S. So they started buying their own radio station.
Yeah, just over the border.
Because at this time, you wouldn't have to go into the radio station to broadcast. Most of the time, you would just call in to the receiver and do it over the phone. Congress had to then pass the Brinkley Act, which is still a law, making it illegal for radio transmitters in Mexico to be connected to phone lines based in America.
Damn.
Because he would just travel around America doing whatever and just call in. Somehow. So at this point, he actually invented pre-recording radio shows. At this point, nobody had really pre-recorded radio shows. So he would just have like a tape
Just a
recorder.
record player.
And then,
facing
a phonograph.
Microphone.
Yeah.
God, imagine
And-
how bad that would sound over
Oh my God.
1930s fucking radio.
That would be terrible.
Yeah, and that's what's coming out of your fucking, like...
Your teeth.
Your teeth. It's vibrating off your fucking, like, necklace. Your
Yeah.
little- God damn. A gold chain.
Somehow, he closed his old clinic in Kansas, sold it off, opened a new one within the Roswell Hotel.
Oh, my God.
Also, at this point, he became outwardly a Nazi sympathizer. And in
fucking right-wing grifter, why not?
I mean, hey, we were just talking about this. Like, whenever there's a controversy for content creators,
They always slip to that right
they
wing.
always slip to the right wing because they know they won't get fired.
Yeah, they got to find somebody to fit in with.
Mm-hmm. So,
pedophiles and Nazis.
yeah, 100%. In 1934, the U.S. pressured Mexico to shut him down, and they listened, and they basically kicked him out of town. They said, "You're not doing this anymore." But he had a new medical clinic.
You're out, Brinkley.
With people who never checked his medical license or ability to practice medicine. He starts pushing on modified vasectomies. No fucking clue what that means. And his prostate rejuvenation surgeries take over. That's his like main work. He can knock him out in like 15 minutes. 17 minutes if he's been drinking. And he opened...
usually 17.
Yeah. He hired other doctors, other young doctors to like do his surgeries and stuff, and he opened another clinic in San Juan that focused on colon treatments, kind of branching out. He bought 16 acres, built a mansion, bought a dozen Cadillacs, imported animals from the Galapagos, which is fucking awful, and had a foaming fountain surrounded by 8,000 exotic bushes and a 10-foot deep pool. And on the fountain, it says Brinkley, and on the gate, it says Brinkley.
Now it says El Chapo.
Yeah, right. And he was, like, living the high life. I think he figured, may as well enjoy it while I have it, because he keeps getting shut down. But he also has so much money.
Yeah.
Another real doctor actually opens another clinic in Del Rio and pushes him out by offering similar treatments that are backed up by science for cheaper.
Hell yeah.
So he gets kicked out, and he had to open a new clinic in Little Rock, Arkansas.
And made billions of dollars.
Somehow, he had 2 patients. He made $13 billion. No. Well, it turns out he very likely was committing a lot of tax fraud from these surgeries. And in 1938, Dr. Morris Fishbane returns to this story. He publishes a scathing report about Brinkley, lays out every single failure of his entire life, including his earlier charges when he was with the German electric medicine, and the absolute reckless damage that this causes. And this is just what he needs. He's baiting Brinkley into suing him. And Brinkley sues him for $250K, which is $5.4 million now.
Damn, that's a big paycheck.
And Fishbane wanted him to sue him because then Fishbane could present his evidence in court and actually be heard and have actionable circumstances. He couldn't just sue him.
Yeah,
he had to
because then he can file a countersuit.
So the jury basically said that Brinkley is a charlatan. He's a quack. Within a few days of the case, it opened...
They hadn't even heard fucking Fishbean's side yet.
Yeah.
They were like,
yeah,
we know about him.
Oh, yeah. I got one of those surgeries 5 years ago. My wife left me. Now, because of this case, because he lost this case, basically, Brinkley lost this case, it opened the floodgates so that anyone who underwent one of his treatments would be able to sue him, and they basically win. So instantly, over $3 million of their money, lawsuits hit at once. They just slapped him in the face. And the IRS opened a case about his tax fraud.
Oof.
He immediately had to declare bankruptcy in 1941.
Goodness.
The Postal Service began investigating him for mail fraud.
God damn.
And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Dr. Romulus Brinkley has 3 heart attacks and has a leg amputated.
All of the stress got up to him.
Well, he saw $3 million in like 1930 something. What'd I say? Or in 1941.
Yeah.
He sees $3 million and multiple investigations. And he has 3 massive heart attacks. His leg is amputated because there was poor circulation. It basically died.
God.
And May 26, 1942, John Romulus Brinkley died a penniless Nazi fuck in pain, failure, leaving nothing behind for his family. Died of fraud. His remaining son killed himself in the 70s.
Oh my God. Jesus.
Yeah. And that's the story of Dr. J. Romulus Brinkley.
Goodness gracious. Well, he got everything that was coming to him.
He really did. It's, oh my God, it's so
Wowza.
wild.
That's fucking bonkers, but good.
Good.
I'm glad he got what he deserved.
I kind of wish he had lived a little bit longer to see the Nazis get defeated while being homeless
Yeah.
and then died, but
we'll take this win.
we'll take it. Yeah, he had to sell all his clinics. When he went bankrupt, all his clinics went to like the doctors that he had hired, and then they were investigated and had to change. They basically couldn't do any Romulus Brinkley surgeries.
Yeah, good.
And yeah, it went fucking wild.
Good grief. Well, as always, we appreciate you guys listening. Appreciate you checking us out. If you would like a better intro or an ad-free version of the show, check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/points-o-pressure. Exclusive episode per month. Like I said, ad-free listening. You have AJ's series called Voices, and we have a bunch of sloppy seconds on there. Check it out. There's a free tier as well. You get a couple things on that. So go make an account and help support us. And if you can't afford it, that's okay too. Yeah, you got those names.
Yeah, so we've got the quad ball board, Minnie D, Thomas, and Toddle Waddle. They want you to know that they are very virile.
Yeah, true.
And then, of course, we've got Abby, AJ's Third Nut, Nordic Thunder, Weston, Dark Runner, D's Nuts, G-Dog, Grover, Hayden, Laura, Ravo, and Lindo. Thank you all so much for being here and supporting us. And
Yeah, you guys are the best. We wouldn't be here without you. We wouldn't have the quality that we do. So thank you. Thanks again. Not the board, though. Fuck you guys. And as always, if you guys ever have any ideas for episodes or you find an article that has to do with one of our previous episodes, reach out to us and follow us on Instagram because she puts a lot of work into it and you get additional content through information she finds, pictures. She does a lot of work for it, so check us out there. So, reach out on Instagram at points-o-pressure. Feel free to contact us via email ppdnaj@gmail.com or go to our website pointsopressure.com and send us a voicemail, and we'll catch you guys next Monday.